This used to be a rigid-bottomed inflatable. Now, unfortunately, it's a deflatable. My friend Callum, the pirate, brought this to me last week with a 3-foot long gash in the bottom of it caused by a tree stump. Can we fix it? Yes, we can. First thing we got to do is give the thing the massive clean. I'm going to be using sugar soap, which is awesome for cleaning the grime and grease off. And once I've done that, the next thing I'll be using is acetone. Acetone is nail polish remover, and that keys the fabric. It softens it from its years of UV degradation and makes a nice, pliable, clean surface for me to glue to. Because an inflatable boat has got so many attachments, we need to get a smooth surface underneath. There's handles and D-rings and rowlocks and all sorts of things poking out on the other side of this. So we need a piece of plywood underneath to give us a smooth surface to work on. So here I am setting everything up. It's most important to get everything ready before you start gluing, because once this glue is down, there is no going back. It's a heat activated glue, and you'll be very surprised to see what it is. But once I've made the patch, rounded off the corners, decided whether I'm going to start from the right hand end or the left hand end, just depending on what's easier. In each situation it's different. The next thing I'm going to be doing is getting the glue, and the glue looks like this. It's the same glue that you glue plumbing waste pipes with under the sink. It's not expensive, it's not special, but it's PVC glue. It's for gluing PVC. And those pipes are one type of PVC. This boat is just another type of PVC. So here I am, all set up and ready to go. Everything's cleaned to within an inch of its life. I've decided that which end I'm going to start on. I'm now marking small marks on the boat around the edge of where the patch is, making sure that the patch is half on one side, half on the other, exactly. I'm just putting little marks so that when I start gluing, I don't end up putting lots of glue all over the boat and making it look pretty awful. So I glue both sides, and you can sit and wait for the glue to dry, or you can use a heat gun to set the glue off. But the great thing about this glue is that when it's dry, you can heat activate it and get it going again. So you warm it up with a heat gun and roll it with a rubber tired roller, and that pushes it into the surface and makes it bond. These are the only tools for the job that you might not have in your toolbox. One is a 2-speed heat gun, the other is the rubber tired roller. So that one side is registered to the other, to make sure that as I finish I don't end up with a huge bubble of fabric that has nowhere to go. So here I am just heating and rolling one of these little tabs into place. Once I've got a couple of those on, that's going to hold everything together a little bit like tack stitching, I suppose. With a cut of this length, there's a lot of gluing, so I'm going to speed things up a little bit here if I can, and we'll move on to the next bit. Now often I'm using this heat gun with the concentrating nozzle on it. Today I don't want that, I just want a gentle warmth over the whole patch. So take the concentrating nozzle off and just generally warm the patch in front of where I'm rolling, working from the inside towards the outside edges to make sure that there are no air bubbles trapped under there, and working from one end to the other. So you can see here that I'm working from one end to the other with just a gentle heat applied across the whole patch, and the roller is being used to push any air out from the center towards the outsides. So there we go. That's the first patch done, and now I need to just rearrange the boat on the board, remembering to pull that piece of plywood out of the inside because I can't go leaving that in there. This will be the last opportunity I get. So we'll pull the ply out, turn it over slightly, and work on this more complicated part which is coming up. As I flip it over, you'll see how this cone is tapered, being the back end of the boat, and I've got to compensate for that. This is an awkward little bit that I might have to do in 2 stabs, but just watch what I do to make the thing sit flat, and you'll realise that you too can do an extensive rebuild on a boat using these techniques. There really is quite a lot to it. This cut was nasty, and you can see here that I'm having to make another one of those little tabs which I'll glue on the inside, and that will just help to hold it together while I get the main patch on the outside. Once again, same trick as on the main cut. Just a few marks around the outside edge to give me a guide for gluing so that I don't end up spreading glue all over the boat needlessly. Glue both sides, right out to the edges, paying particular attention to getting a good coat of glue right on the edges. Gluing inside the marks that I just transferred from the outside of the patch. Making particular care to get right out to the edges. Too much glue can also be a problem because it won't go off as quickly as the rest of it. So you don't want to end up with puddles of glue. You need a nice even coating. Quick warm up just to tack it off. You can see a slight crease in the patch from how it's been sitting. As I warm it up, it gets more pliable and that crease just drops away. That's about the temperature you're looking for. Just a nice pliable piece of PVC. There you go. See that crease is gone now? So now I can just put the patch in place very carefully, lining it up with the marks that I'd put there with the pen. Press it down and give it a roll with the roller. Because this patch goes over the top of another patch, there is a step underneath it, so that takes some really good hard rolling to make sure that you don't end up with a little air channel along the side of the other piece.
So there you go, with just a few simple tools and knowing the right kind of glue to use, you can repair one of these at virtually no cost. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button down below and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you next time on Tiny House and Off-Grid Resources.